Growing up in my town has given me some mental fortitude against the paranormal that would otherwise leave average people babbling incoherent messes. Every once in a while, though, I come across something that even shakes me. I don't just mean it in terms of immediate danger either. I mean something that'll last in my memory for a really long time. As far as I could tell, this thing was a result of experimenting. The Equus must have ordered it done on a slave and what was basically a POW. That had disturbing implications in that they would have needed the help of some humans to make that happen. I didn't understand why its skin looked mostly human at the time. Thinking about it now, it might have been some form of humiliation. Whatever the reason, it got left in the underground of the tower to wander for a long time. Now, the rage building up inside of it was about to be directed at me. It was hard to tell how much of this thing was machine. That meant if I tried stabbing it, my lance might have been met with metal. It was a situation that required thinking on my feet, something I've gotten somewhat decent at over the years. I hope the time spent in almost absolute darkness made it sensitive to light. There was only one way to find out if it was. As it came closer, stretching its arms toward me, I shined my flashlight's beam in its eyes. Sure enough, it reacted by crying out in pain, covering its eyes. While it was dazed, I hauled ass, dashing past it. My goal then was backtracking to get back upstairs. Even if I ran into some guards, it was better than being down there with that thing. I did thankfully manage to lose it. Finding my way back upstairs was a different story. I had rounded so many corners trying to get away from it that backtracking seemed impossible. What was even more worrying was the risk of running into it again or things that were similar. Still, a use of this place could be an escape route. That meant there had to be other ways out of it. I felt along the floors and walls while walking on the off chance of coming across the switch. It was a slow and tedious process, but I didn't want to risk missing one. Eventually, my patience bore fruit. I discovered another switch, this time on the floor. My foot pressed into it, opening up another wall to the right of me. The first thing I became aware of after entering was more humming. Thinking more creatures like the one I saw were about to attack me, I became on edge. When nothing happened, I calmed down. The more I listened to it, the more a distinction between it and that thing became noticeable to me. Something about it seemed more industrial. It was as if parts of some machine were moving to build something. Thinking there might be a switch to illuminate the place, I searched the wall for one. I found a lever that felt similar to ones in old movies like Frankenstein. Flipping it upward caused an electrical crackling that powered on the room's lights. What it revealed definitely would have fit in a sci-fi horror movie. In containers of pink liquid were more of those experiments. The Pexels were planning on creating an army of these twisted abominations. However, they hadn't quite perfected them yet. If the mechanical hybrid I saw was any indicator, the issue was making them obedient. That did cause me to wonder why it didn't try to leave that place. Then again, maybe it didn't want to. I don't think I could, looking like that. What it really wanted then, I wasn't sure. A cry reached me. Following it showed me a caged foal unicorn. I put two and two together, realizing this was the princess. Just then, the wall opened again. Coming into the lab was it. I can't say I was surprised it knew about it. With how long it had been down there, it probably knew the underground like the back of its hand. That didn't stop my bowels from nearly evacuating at the sight of it. I tried shining my flashlight at it again, but it grabbed it out of my hand, crushing it to pieces. Next, I tried stabbing it with my lance, only for it to get knocked out of my hand. It grabbed me by the throat, lifting me off the floor. It could have killed me right then and there. Instead, it elected to choke the hell out of me. Why are you down here? What I felt then was confused and disturbed. The former because I didn't think it could talk, and the latter because of how wrong it sounded. It reminded me of text to speech, except with a deep raspiness to it. I tapped it on its wrist, letting it know I couldn't talk, making it partially loosen its grip on me. I was trying to get away from the guards. Why were you in the tower? If you let me go, I'll explain. It dropped me to the floor. I got up, rubbing my neck, then explained everything. It would serve them right for doing this to me and my worthless parents. Parents? Another disturbing realization hit me. You're the prince. Farmer. I lost that title some time ago. Now I've been reduced to this. That really sucks, I said, unsure of what else to say. Awkward silence hung between us for a couple of moments. I decided to break it with another question. Do the Equos know you're down here? Of course, that's why they haven't been down here in years. They did this to me, you know. Them and some of you accursed humans. It took me years to get used to how I am now. They tried controlling me, but things didn't go well for them. He pointed to a table against a far wall where several Pegasus skulls rested on it. Attempting to change the subject to something less gruesome, I asked him another question. His answer didn't have my desired result. How exactly have you been surviving? This is my food. He pointed to the other experiments. You eat them? I have to live off something. I'm not all machine, you know. It took me a while to learn how to use this technology, but eventually I got the hang of it. Well, cannibalism seems par for the course here, so I can't say I'm surprised, but you're obviously pretty busy, so how about you show me how to get back upstairs? Then I'll be out of your hair. I can't do that. I'm actually glad you're here now. The way he said that made me really uncomfortable. Why? Because I've needed a fresh test subject. To say I was scared shitless at that point would have been an understatement. Now, obviously, from my posting this, I did manage to make it out of there. How exactly is something that'll be answered next week. I think I'm going to wind down and watch a movie before bed. See you all later.